Inaction, not failure, is the opposite of success. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day. And in today's video, we're going to be sitting back in my squeaky chair, relaxing and having a little conversation about Pokemon. Specifically, today, we are going to be talking about one Pokemon card in particular. This one. This is Kabuto. Specifically, this is a CGC 10 graded Kabuto. And I picked this slab up a few months ago now for, I want to say about $25. For two reasons. One, I like Kabuto. It is one of the coolest Pokemon in Gen 1, and it evolves into the coolest Pokemon in the franchise, in my opinion. Kabutops, which is a dinosaur scythe crab monstrosity. It's a really cool Pokemon. The other reason I grabbed the slab was the aforementioned $25. At that price range, it's basically the cost of the card plus the grading submission itself, so I figured, hey, there doesn't really seem to be much of an upcharge there, so I'll go ahead and grab that for myself. So, fast forward a few months after that purchase, and imagine my shock when today I woke up to find that this one slab here went up quite a bit on the secondary market, with eBay listings having sold copies at CGC 9 and 10 for over $300. That's absolutely wild to me, and it's not just the slab version that's seeing an upcharge. The regular, ungraded copies on TCG Player are going for as high as $25-30 as of the recording of this video. That is absolutely wild for a common card from Fossil, which is not a very large set, so there's a lot of these out there, right? Fossil, I think, is a 62 card set, maybe 65. I'll have to look at some point. I think it's 62 though, and the first edition isn't like, there's not a lot of it out there, but Fossil had a not terribly microscopic first edition print run, so there's a lot out there. A lot's been opened. So there's a lot of these Kabutos running around. So naturally, when you see a random common from Fossil skyrocket in price, you try to figure out what's going on, and it did not take me very long to figure out what was going on. You see, there's a few people, but one in particular is worth talking about. There's a user on Twitter, I will never call it X, who goes by the name Kabuto King, who has been making a habit of posting his journey of collecting as many first edition Kabuto cards as he can. In fact, his apparent end goal is to own every copy of first edition Fossil Kabuto, and he's up to like 1,700 copies or something at his last check-in for the update. Which is impressive, don't get me wrong. That is a lot of copies of one card. But apparently, since he's been doing this for a while, he has been making very public posts about his collection. He's not just collecting raw cards, he is grabbing slabs, and he's adding them to his personal collection, and he wants to own all of them. And apparently in recent weeks, this has really been getting attention online, making the rounds. Places like Reddit, 4chan, etc. are noticing it. And as a result, as more and more of these Kabutos disappear into this guy and some other people's personal collection, the secondary market prices have been rising and rising until we get to the situation we're in today, where this one card has like a, what? I'm terrible at math, so that's like a, what, 3,000% increase in value from $25 to $300. Someone do the math on that. You guys don't come to this channel to hear how good I am at math, science, and all that jazz. You come for my opinions, I hope, because you ain't gonna learn any math here. But yeah, it's a huge increase in price for an otherwise relatively unimpressive card. And I should stress, from what I can find, it looks like he is only doing this for the first edition Fossil printings. He's not doing it for the Unlimited. He's not doing it for the WotC promo version, which is basically the same card, just with a little W stamp on it, which is really cool looking. I do want to grab one of those for myself at some point, but it's not a high priority. The rest of the fossil set is what I want to grab at some point. I should talk about my collection goals at some point. That should be a video. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. But yeah, it is crazy. It is very impressive that one person or a small group of people can have this kind of radiative effect on a single collectible in a very wide market of collectibles. And, you know, I could spend my time here today talking about the factors in play. You know, the set's old, it's a popular Pokemon, relatively popular Pokemon. It's got its fans at the very least. I'm a fan of Kabuto. More of a fan of Kabutops, but still. It's an old set. It's a first edition once era card. Even at common, it's a fairly rare card compared to today's print runs. You know, I could talk about all that stuff, but really what this is a case of one person with clearly a lot of dedication, going out there, making his moves very publicly, and in turn, a lot of people elsewhere getting caught up in the hype, the FOMO, and the, quite frankly, some bullishness when it comes to one specific card in a market that otherwise is appearing quite stagnant right now. There's been a lot of talk about a Pokemon crash or a Pokemon decline lately, but not for Kabuto. Kabuto is definitely not affected by that one bit. And, you know, it really does reflect on the power of just one person with a lot of dedication and a lot of time and resources to make some changes. Now, do I think this is going to last forever? No, not really. Kabuto is it's a common. It's a mass-printed common. There's a lot of it out there. And once enough people, I think, catch on to it, I think there's going to be plenty of it flooding the market. Because there's a lot of it out there, in my opinion. I don't know what the fossil print run for first edition is, but I'm willing to bet there's more than, I don't know, there's got to be a lot of them out there. I don't want to like put a number out there and guesstimate on the channel, because I could say 10,000 and it's actually 50,000 or it's actually 100,000, right? So I don't know what percentage of the print run this guy has. I don't know what percentage of print run, I don't know what the print run even is. But I will say that in my personal opinion, I don't think this is the kind of card that will have an inflated price forever. If only because, again, there's not much going for this beyond hype, perceived FOMO, and the irreverent dreams of one guy, which is impressive, as I've said. It is, you know, I will never say that it's a bad idea for one guy to go ham crazy and collect one card, right? I like that quite a lot. I wish I had the kind of budget to buy up every copy of a card that I liked. It would have to be a cheap card, though. It would have to be a relatively cheap card for me to want to buy thousands of copies. But still, you know, the fact remains, at the end of the day, this is a situation where one man with a simple goal in mind is managing to make waves and affecting the market. And it goes to show that this is possible, and that this is very possible. It's, you know, if one random Twitter user can do this, then who's to say that a content creator couldn't completely shift the market? And if one content creator, why not 7? Why couldn't 7 content creators get together and all buy up, I don't know, what's a good jungle card? Man, I don't know. Base set 2 Venusaur. Yeah, there we go. They could all buy up every single copy of base set 2 Venusaur and drive the price up to the freaking roof. Base set 2, just to illustrate, you know, card doesn't necessarily have to be particularly rare or hard to find. It just has to have some FOMO, some hype, some desire to it. Because that's what's going on here. This is not a particularly rare card. In fact, it's a common. Not rare at all. And just a few months ago, CGC 10s were going for 25 bucks. That shows you how many of those are out there. I wonder what the population report is for PSA 10s. It's probably not small, right? But yeah, it's just an impressive, it's an impressive accomplishment. Let's make no mistake about that. And it goes to show how it does not take much to move markets. You get enough people having faith in something's price, and that becomes the price. That's all I'll say. You get enough people to back an idea, and the idea becomes a good idea through virtue of popularity. That's all I got for you, kid. That's all I got for you, kids, today. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree with me. If you think that I'm crazy and that Kabuto is only going to go higher, or do you agree with me and do you think Kabuto is in an inflated bubble of sorts? Let me know. I do read all the comments, and I like all the comments. Beyond that, check out the Patreon. Patrons can pay me as little as $1, and they get little behind-the-scenes videos and game reviews and such like that. I like chatting with them. Speaking of chatting with me, head over to Discord, where we also have a public server where we just like to talk about whatever. All right, that's all my shilling out of the way. Who wants to buy this Kabuto off of me for $7 bazillion? That really is all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.